Hey guys, Sarah here. Welcome to Sarah's Tech Let's Talk Apple. Well, WWDC 2024 is now over, and as expected, we have a new iOS 18, iPadOS 18, watchOS 11, tvOS 18, macOS 15, and VISIONOS 2. So here's what's new in all of them. The very beginning of WWDC today was a short summary about tvOS and how well it's doing. Apparently it's been top for the last 3 years. And then we got straight into talking about VisionOS. For those that do have a Vision Pro, there are several new features that were added today. For photos, there is now a left and right eye view, and SharePlay is compatible. You can now hold your hand up and tap to get the home view, and they are also adding train support. Spatial video is getting added to a specific lens on the Canon camera to give people more ways to tape it and use it. There's a new Vimeo app created. Immersive video has been updated, and Vision Pro goes international at the end of the month. So those that watch from other countries, as we here in the US have it, will finally get their chance at it starting on the 28th. Surprisingly, to me at least, right after this we jumped into iOS. I expected iOS to come later, as it is the system that most of us care the most about. Most people who have multiple Apple products today started with an iPhone and branched out from there. We got several things that had been rumored about iOS confirmed. You can indeed now move the apps out of the grid view if you want. They change in dark mode, and you can change their color. Control Center is now split into separate pages, and those pages are categorized, and you can go up and down to get to the different pages. Also, you can change how the Control Center is laid out, and you can change which Control Center actions you can get to from the home screen. Also, as predicted, you can now lock an app, and those apps would require some form of authentication to open it. If an app requires access to the contacts, you can give them access to limited contacts and not all of them. With messages, we got confirmation of some things again. You can schedule when you send a message now, and we do have SMS messaging now, and you can use satellite to do that. Also, all emojis are added to tapback. For those that are unsure what tapback is, sometimes when you send a message, when someone sends you a message, or when you send a message, you then tap the message, and at the top you can choose between certain emojis to add to it to say, oh, I like this, or haha, that's funny. That's tapback. And now you don't just have the 5 or 6 that used to appear there. You can choose from any emoji to do that. Mail has been split into different categories like priority, and of course you still have all mail, but you have ways of checking on things like if you got emailed about, say, a flight you're taking, or if something is supposed to happen today, you can prioritize these things. Maps got topographical maps added, and of course you can now choose your routes. This was reiterated multiple times in different OS. As far as wallet, you got tap to cash, so you can tap phones together and pay someone instantly. You got Apple Pay online, and Event Ticket got a slight redesign. Journal got search. Game Mode, which was previously on macOS, has now come to iOS. And Photos got a significant redesign. You still have the grid at the top, but underneath that you have different categories and different ways of organizing them. And of course, you can change these to make it what's more appropriate to you. As far as HomeOS, we got a couple new updates, not a whole lot. As far as tvOS, you've got Insight, enhanced support for TV speakers, subtitles will appear more often, support for widescreen movies, and new screensavers. As far as Insight, which is like the really big new feature there, I would say, what that means is, say you're watching a movie and you know the actor from somewhere else, but maybe you don't remember from where. You can swipe down and it will show you that actor's name and their information and maybe some other things they've appeared in, so you can figure out, oh, that's where I remember this person from. That's what I remember them in before. watchOS, as always, is more fitness focused, so you've got training load mainly for those that are training for like big races, be that a bike race or running race, or maybe you swim a lot. This training load will help you focus on your training and see how well you're doing. Are you doing about your average? Are you doing more? Are you doing less? Do we need to take a break? For those of us that use the fitness app, that first tab in fitness is now more customizable. And for those that really need to watch their numbers for some reason, you now have a Vitals app added that can help you with that. For us ladies that use the cycle tracking aspect of the watch or fitness app, if you do fall pregnant, you can now see the gestational age. Your smart stacks will now add new widgets as needed, and the photos face of the watch has been updated. As far as iPadOS, you can of course make the assumption that what I said about iOS is true for iPadOS, since iPadOS is essentially a bigger version of iOS. We did get several features on top of that. For example, we got the thing that we all think should have been there from the get-go. It's amazing it took them this long, but Apple does finally have a Apple calculator app on the iPad. You don't have to use a third-party one if you don't want to. On top of that, we have a new floating tab bar, and it can turn into a sidebar. You can customize it, and there can be distinct animations put to it. SharePlay got a few updates. We got tap and draw and the ability to remotely control someone else's device once you ask them if need be. So say you're trying to help someone out with something, but you're not with them and you're just trying to help them out over the internet, you will be able to request the ability to control their device so you can just do it for them or show them how to do it if need be. Freeform got a bit of an update too. You can add to different sections and control them one by one. And Smart Script is kind of across the board. It helps redefine and refine like handwriting. So if you scribble something really quick but you want to make it neater, Smart Script goes back and helps with that. And you can add things from the web and it will make it appear in your own handwriting too. As far as the OSs go, the last one they did was macOS, and we got a few new features there. Previously, macOS had a feature called Continuity Camera, where you could use your iPhone as a camera on top of your Mac. They've sort of added to that this year with what they just call continuity and iPhone mirroring. So you can literally pull up the iPhone on the Mac and use everything like and it'll literally have an interface of your iPhone appear on the screen. So this is for like if you want the iPhone for something, but maybe it's in another room and you don't feel like getting up to get it. And the iPhone itself stays where it is and nothing changes on the actual device itself. So if it's locked or whatever, it'll stay locked or wherever it is at. Also, if the iPhone is currently in standby mode, it'll stay in standby and it still works perfectly well. I use standby mode every day. I love that. If you're dragging something around on the screen, it'll suggest positions to snap it into. It also has a presenter preview, which is for, well, things like now when you're making a video and you want to make sure that what people see doesn't look bad or doesn't look messy. If something does look bad or messy, it'll let you edit it, or it'll let you choose a different background so that the people who can see you on your, say, Zoom call don't see the mess in the room that maybe you didn't have time to clean up before the Zoom call started. As predicted, we got a password app added. Safari had a reader and a viewer and a couple other minor things added to it. And we're bringing Mac games to iOS and iPadOS with Game Porting Kit number 2. So macOS got a bit of an update as said. Now I said that macOS was the last OS they did because we got something else added at that time too. There have been rumors for years that they're going to update Siri, and This year, they really actually did it. But the way they did it is not just an update to Siri, it's an update to the whole system across the board. They called this whole system update Apple Intelligence. And it affects pretty much anything you use on an iPhone, an iPad, or a MacBook. It affects language and text, it affects images, it affects actions. With actions, you can do more specific ones than you could do before with Siri. With language and text, you can prioritize certain messages. With images, you can do your images in multiple different ways. You can sketch them, you can illustrate them, you can animate them. It uses more personal context. It does not collect the personal info to ensure that they use private cloud compute. As I said, Siri itself got a major update. It's much more natural and much more intelligent and will be able to handle a lot more. We have several upgrades to the Mail app, tools like Rewrite that help you change the tone, Smart Reply, Summary. They added a feature called Genmoji. You can type a description of the emoji you're looking for. It will give you options that match that. Or if you want to make this really personal, like with Memoji, you can make the emoji from a picture of a person. Photos gives us a cleanup tool, and it lets you be more natural with your language. By this, I mean it lets you be more specific with the photo you're looking for. And many have asked for this. ChatGPT is going to be integrated a little later this year. Apple Intelligence is meant to kind of be its own ChatGPT, but they realize that there are some things that they still need help with, so ChatGPT itself is coming in to help. Well, that's it for this year's WWDC. We got a few new AI features as expected, and for the first time in a few years, it was purely a software conference. As far as release dates, the developer betas are, of course, available today, as is usual. The regular betas will be available next month, and for anyone that wants to wait until the software is out of beta, that'll, of course, be September. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Sarah out.